You can build an absolutely unbelievable fragrance collection with these fragrances, and you're not going to be smelling like every other guy out there. No Sauvage, no Dylan Blue, no, whatever, Stronger With You. And trust me when I say I love all of those fragrances. I talk about them often because they are incredible. They're great purchases, they work well, great compliment pullers, all of that stuff. However, this is going to be the video for those of you who want to stand out and build up a collection that might just be a bit different than usual. With one caveat being, these are still wearable, they still smell amazing, versatile, good performers. A lot of these are pretty affordable. So, you're still having things that you can really utilize and get great compliments from. It's just not what you might expect. This first one is going to be Hermes Voyage de Hermes, coming in at the Parfum concentration here. Kind of a funky bottle. This is how it sits, right? And just flip it up and then you can spray it. Kind of cool. So it's got cardamom, lemon, some tea in here as well. We'll give this one a spray. It's really, really nice, especially if you like tea. It smells wonderful. Perfect for this time of year. A nice spring day, maybe a bit of a rainy spring day. It's great stuff. I think tea is an underutilized note in fragrances, or at least in men's fragrances. You just don't see it all that often. But whenever it is used, I don't know, there's just something about it that is just kind of refreshing and different. It's a bit exciting. And that's what this one's all about. It's kind of bright and refreshing, but just a little bit warm and spicy as well. That lemon tea combination is wonderful. The cardamom adding to that warm spice and just a hint of sweetness. It's a really, really well done blend. The other thing that's nice about this one is that it's got good performance too. And I kind of touched on that when giving my overview of what we were going to be covering. But with that Parfum, you are getting something that does perform good. And this one definitely does. This next one is Mercedes-Benz Le Parfum. Now, this one is going to be generally around, I don't know, let's say $40 to $45, somewhere around in there. This one's got oud, violet leaf, and amber. I know what you're thinking, oud, right? That's just kind of a hit and miss for some. Some like it, some don't. Now, what I can say for this one is it's very mild, very subdued, designer level. And with it mixing with that violet leaf, it adds a lot of freshness to this as well, really helping to balance things out a little bit. It smells really, really good. Another one that's great to just change things up. If you're wearing, things that a lot of other guys are wearing and you're smelling it all the time, maybe that could start to get boring, but this one just, it kind of, rolls the dice a little bit, just gives you something exciting and different to look forward to. And again, with the price point that this one comes in at, anywhere from 40 to 50, it's really hard to say no to. And again, while some people still may be apprehensive due to the mention of oud, it's so easy going in here that it's not a problem. Think of something like Versace Oud Noir, even, and not even quite as extreme as Tom Ford Oud Wood. It's just a very, very wearable, designer level, quote unquote, watered down oud. It's very, very approachable is how I would put it. And it would actually be a great starter oud scent if you're somebody who has wanted to start to get into it, but you're not really sure where to start and you don't want to go full in. Check out something like this. And, worst case, if you end up not liking it, at least you're not out a ton of money. Okay, this next one is going to be Carolina Herrera Mystery Tobacco. This is a fantastic tobacco scent. And I've always described it as kind of like a mixture between Mancera red tobacco and then a little bit, actually quite a bit, of a Parfums de Marly Carlisle smell. Just from the patchouli, woody sweetness that this one has, and then also the type of tobacco that they're using in here is similar to red tobacco, although the difference between something like this and red tobacco is oud. In fact, there really is none in here, whereas in red tobacco, you do get a pretty prominent oud accord. So that's one of the differences. And then again, man, kind of vanilla, patchouli sweetness that this one has, and that warmth, bit of a spicy kick, kind of taking it back over to the Carlisle direction. It smells delicious. If I had to say which one it was closer to, it would be Carlisle. This stuff is wonderful. I love it, but I'm also a big fan of tobacco scents. But it's another wearable one, okay? It's not tobacco to the point of just, like smelling like smoke or anything crazy like that. It's still something that I think a lot of guys can pull off pretty easily. Generally going to be better in the cooler times of the year, but for a cloudy, rainy spring day, you know, there's no reason you couldn't wear mystery tobacco. This is part of their confidential line, I believe is what they refer to these as. So more expensive, basically, is one way to put it. And so because of that, you're paying a bit more for these. Generally going to be $220, maybe $250 for 100 ml. That's pricey, but at the same time, the quality and performance is pretty much unbeatable. And these are really good. And honestly, they easily compete with niche brands, no questions asked. I mean, they hold up really well. And in this case here, all of these are just unique in their own way for the most part. Now let's go back over to something more affordable. You're looking at usually around $30 to $35 for Lacoste L'Homme. It's got orange and rhubarb, some woods going on, and some musk, but basically it's orange and rhubarb. Now those are the key notes here. It's kind of a nice sweet creamy orange with a bit of an aromatic kind of spice a little bit, and nice and fresh and bright as well. This is perfect for spring. If I had to choose what season this would be best for, it would be spring. I think that's when this is best suited for, because of the kind of fresh, sweet combination that this one has. Works well for a spring day where it could start off cold and then get warm and then get cold again. This one kind of holds up for all of that. Again, the fact that you can get this one for usually around $30 to $35 makes it a pretty much a no-brainer. Real nice, safe blind buy that could work for everyday wear. Performance is not going to blow you away like some of these others that are pretty well beast mode, but also really can't complain at this price point either. It's a moderate 5-6 hour performer usually on average, and you know, it might want more. You could reapply it, I guess, or just time it out for times where you only need a few hours performance, or spray it on super heavy in the morning and hope for the best. Okay, let's go for a summer scent up next, one that is really unique, and other than some clones, nothing else quite like it. It's Acqua di Gio Profondo. Pretty big step away from the original Acqua di Gio. So that's a very familiar smell that has been out for so many years, and of course quite a few imitations of that. And then of course all of the flankers too, this being one of them. But again, it's a pretty big step away from that. And while there is a little bit of that OG smell, I mean, not a ton really. It kind of starts to really venture off into this more realistic smelling, mineralized, orange, watery, kind of salty combination that just didn't really exist in the original. Now, don't get me wrong, of course, still designer, still a great compliment puller, very easy to pull off, but when you're talking about uniqueness and just overall scent quality and just the blend itself, this versus the original, I mean, this one wins any day, every day for me. I mean, it's worlds better and a lot more interesting, a lot more going on with this one. Better performance too, and overall just one that you really can't beat. And I already mentioned the compliment factor, but it's definitely there. I mean, go do some looking around and people go crazy about this stuff. It really works well. Let's go over to a YSL up next. You know, there's so many options you could go for here when thinking of what you should add to your collection. Now, keep in mind, the premise of this video was to kind of have things that everybody else is not wearing. So like that would pretty much exclude all of the Y fragrances and myself. So we're not having any of those in here. Instead, we're going over to the L'Homme line, more specifically one that is pretty well slept on. It's L'Homme Le Parfum. Now, I've personally talked about it a lot on the channel, pretty much ever since it first came out, maybe a little while after. But it's been a favorite of mine. And I mean, it didn't start off that way. I'll say that. When I got it in, I did like it, but it's grown on me substantially. This one's got amberwood, geranium, ozonic notes in here. Smells really, really nice. I mean, man, this stuff it's the perfect combination of modern meets gentleman. And the easiest way to put this one, and I love describing it this way because it makes it so simple. The original L'Homme, right? The YSL L'Homme OG mixed with Eau de Parfum. That's what it is. So you kind of get that gentleman, classic, ginger, apple, woody smell from L'Homme, mixed with some of the newer blue, fruity, slight sweetness from YSL Parfum and things like that, combined into one for 80 bucks. And so when you think, you know, oh, I'll just buy the two and combine them myself, of course you can do that, and you're not going to get exactly the same because there are some differences as well. It's not that cut and dry, but you're looking at double the money. You know, you're getting the best of both worlds for $80 is usually what this one goes for on discounters. That's pretty reasonable. It's generally, you know, that's about $20 to $25 less than YSL Parfum, maybe even $30 less. So, you know, really, really good price. Again, I've already sprayed it, but I got to go again. That's just, man, this stuff just gets better every time I smell it. L'Homme Le Parfum. I've got a feeling that it's not long for the world. I just don't see this one lasting forever with how many of these they have discontinued over the years just so they can keep adding more to the line. I'm sure at some point this one will be up on the chopping block, but until then, it is worthwhile picking up and maybe even grabbing a backup bottle of or two. I know I will. We're going to finish things off with a niche scent here from a niche brand that everybody knows, that maybe a lot of people have started with, that has, well, it's been a point of controversy over the years, but they've also put out so many fantastic fragrances, and this is one of them. It's an absolute no-brainer. I think every guy pretty much should own a bottle of Green Irish Tweed by Creed. I mean, this stuff, man, it simply works for everything. Nice fresh lemon verbena, a bit of iris in here, just green, citrusy, ambergris, musky. I think what they say is it smells like a Irish countryside. And I've never been, but I can imagine if that's how it smells, I would love to go. You know, but really, I mean, you could also say it smells like a, you know, summer morning out on the golf course or something. You know, it'd be a good way to describe it too, I suppose. Just green, fresh, bright. And I mean, again, it's been done to death. A lot of clones, people have talked about it. It's been out for a long time. But there's something so timeless about this and so almost kind of comforting and refreshing and relaxing. It's just a really nice scent DNA to have around. And if you don't want to spend the money on Green Irish Tweed, again, clones, Hermes Voyage is a fantastic clone for $20 to $30. That would be one you could go for to get this smell into your collection. I just kind of wanted to go for the OG because might as well. We'll just stick with all the originals here for this video, but there are, you know, affordable alternatives to, you know, a few of these throughout the video. Green Irish Tweed to finish things off. If you add this to your collection, I really don't think you're going to regret it. I don't think you're going to be sorry. These days, the 75 ml bottles are no longer. I grabbed this one just because it looks cool, and I wish they would have stuck with this style. But now they've got the 50 and the 100 mls, and as far as scent is concerned, differences, it's minor to the point where it's just not worth hunting down old bottles and risking getting a fake and spending more money than you should on it. I wouldn't bother with that. Go to whatever discounter has it for the cheapest right now and pick up a 100 ml and call it good, because prices have come down on it. It's not as expensive as a Ventus, so that's a plus as well. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Some fantastic fragrances you should add to your collection to just make it stand out and be above the rest. I will link them all down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.